Looks like we're springing back into action!
Hey! What's up, my peoples? EmGo here, the freaking geek himself, and today we will be reviewing the X-Transbots VIRTUS. So here we are, and there he is, and first and foremost, as always, we'll take a quick look at the packaging. Right up front here we have a lovely piece of artwork of VIRTUS. His name is VIRTUS Aerial Defense on this side of the box. As always, we have a nice little quote here. When you have exhausted all possibilities, remember this, you haven't. That's deep. That is deep. On this side of the box we have VIRTUS. Up top we have VIRTUS. On the bottom we have a teaser for their punch counter punch. Can't wait for that. I'm really looking forward to that. On the back of the box we have a nice little battling image here with some of their past figures. And we have a bio if you want to read it. And a very G1-y tech spec card. And back to the bottom here. Warning! Don't eat anything in this box. That could be very bad for you. And we have Sad Pac-Man! We don't get many of those in Transformers reviews. And that's basically it for the packaging. Also included is the collector's card with that same image there of VIRTUS. And on the back, you have the bio and you have tech specs. If that interests you, hooray for cards. And moving right along here, we have VIRTUS, and this is X-Transbots' take on Springer. And yes, I know I've been telling people that I had no intention of getting this figure, but I changed my mind. I'm allowed, I can do that. And I'm glad I did, honestly. I'm glad I changed my mind about this figure and ended up picking it up, because this is actually a really good figure in my opinion. But yes, here is Springer, and here he is in his car mode. He is packed in car mode. Thank you, X-Transbots. But yeah, here he is in his car mode, and I think the car mode looks really good, in my opinion. I think X-Transbots got the car mode as close as anybody has gotten to actually making it look good. And I think this car mode actually looks the best out of all of the other ones that I've seen, in my opinion anyway. But I think it looks good. But let's get in close. Yes, we can take a look at the details. You got the nice yellow right up front there. You got that grill section. And lots of nice green. You do get a lot of die-cast on this figure. One critique I do have is I think there's too much die-cast on this figure. But we'll go into that as we proceed through. But you can see the nice color scheme that is Springer. Nice transparent blue plastic here for the cockpit. I love that shade, just really pops. And you got some more of that green, some more of that yellow. You have the bottoms of his feet here. As you can see, the bottoms of his feet do have little rubber pads, which is nice. And the fins here are die cast as well. His feet are die cast. Oh no, not too bad. And there is the back. And here is the top, here is the bottom. He has visible hand syndrome. The art's kind of hanging out there. You see the back of his head there too, but it's pretty well concealed actually. And this right here is die cast as well. He has some die cast in his shoulders, which I don't approve of, but again, we'll talk about that later as we proceed on. All the tires are rubber, and he does roll, as rolling things should. Hooray, hooray for rolling. Now, I know there's a lot of third-party Springers out there, but I'm just going to compare it to what I feel is its two closest competitors. And for comparison, here he is with the Ocular Max Springer, and I think the X-Transbots version pulls the car mode off better, because the Ocular Max one, they just kind of did what they wanted here. And here it is with the Fans Toys Springer, and again, I feel the X-Transbots version pulls the car mode off way, way better than the Fans Toys version. It was fine for its time, but yeah, I never too much cared for it. I thought it was a little too long, just didn't quite work that well. So yeah, as far as the car mode goes, the X-Transbots version is definitely the winner, in my opinion anyway. And of course, here he is with G1 Springer, because he's precious. Oh, so precious. There he is with Masterpiece Hot Rod. And lastly but not leastly, here he is with MP44 Optimus Prime. So, there you go. Now, as far as accessories go, he does come with quite a bit of stuff. The first thing we'll show off is this little guy here. So here we have the human version of Springer, which is pretty cool. Nicely painted. Nice little figure. There's no articulation. It's just basically a little statue. If you have trouble getting him to stand, you know, he's made of a soft material, so you can kind of heat it up with a hairdryer, get his feet planted a little bit better. But yeah, you get a little human version there of Springer, which is pretty cool. You do get weaponry. You get this gun right here, done in a nice gunmetal gray. You also get this gun right here as well. Also a very nice design. We also get some blushes. We get some effects parts here, done in a transparent orange. So he comes with his own blushes, which is always appreciated. Of course, he has his sword, which will double as the helicopter blades. You can see the blade done in a nice silver with green there at the base. You get the big old missile here from the 86 movie, because he's got better things to do tonight than die. Don't we all? He does also come with an alternate IDW-styled Springer head. This looks quite good. Doesn't really fit with this body, though, but still nice inclusion nonetheless. And you get a bunch, 5 exactly, alternate faces. So that is everything you get with the figure. Actually, one more thing we get with the figure is a display base. And there's also another thing we get, but I'll show that off a little bit later. Now, as far as storage goes, any of the guns you can plug right up top. You have that going on if you want to. Things you can do if you want to do it. As far as the sword, this is kind of a funny little situation here. So in the instructions, they show you that you can store the sword underneath the car, okay? But they also then include this piece of paper that says, correction, don't do that. Don't do that. No, bad idea, don't. So apparently, no, don't store the sword under the car, because not. So there you go. Conflicting messages, but apparently don't store the sword under car. But you can store the sword and most of your other accessories underneath the base, which is pretty cool. So you have points here for your gun, the sword, your blushes. This doesn't go anywhere. This is actually too thick to sit under here comfortably, but for the most part, most of your accessories you can store right underneath the base, which is quite nice. And you do have an opening cockpit here. You can see there are 2 little seats molded in there. And there's nothing that really fits in here. I tried to put a little Daniel in there, but that doesn't even work. But you know, maybe you can find something small enough to fit in there. But yeah, even these little guys are not small enough to fit in there. But still, nice little feature nonetheless. And one more feature here in car mode is that you do have flip-up headlights, which actually do work. There's a little button right here, and headlights will come on, which is quite nice. Now, you will have to get batteries for these. The batteries are not included, and you will need, I'm trying to turn it off here, it's a tiny button. You will need these kind of batteries right here, AG0 or LR521 or SR521. You'll need 2 for each light. And basically what you're going to do is you're just going to split this in half. This will slide out, and right in there is your battery compartment. So you just install the batteries, slide everything back in, and then voila, you will now have lights for your Springer. Voila. Push the little button. Voila. Lights. Hooray. Hooray for illumination. So that is basically it for the car mode. So let's get down to transformation, shall we? You can't spin on rubber tires. But let's get down to the transformation. So first thing we are going to do to get into helicopter mode is you want to basically just push up on this panel here. Just push that up. That will undo that tab right there. On the other side, just push that up like so. That will disengage all that. You have 2 tabs here on either side, so you just kind of get under here and just pull that out. You do have to kind of flex things a little bit, but it's not to a drastic degree. Just give it a little poop, and all that will pop up. So once we've done that, we'll just get all this in place. And there's not really much to do here. So you're just going to take the wheel, rotate it in halfway. You're going to open up this section here. This section will rotate around and tab in right up here, like so. Then you're going to flip out this yellow section, and then you can extend a little spike deal right there. Close that back up. You're going to pull this up so you can open this panel up, and you're going to slide it down like so, and there's a little notch in here. You see there's a little slot for the panel. So when you slide it down, it'll sit in there, and everything will sit. Should sit nice and flush, like that. And that's all you're doing there, and second verse is just like the first. So rotate that in, open that up, swing this around, tab that in, swing that out, extend a little spike. That's what I call it, a little spike. Bring that out, slide this up so you can bring that panel out, slide it down so it sits flush. And there you go. You can kind of leave these wheels angled out a little bit, just so you can kind of have the clearance down here, but that's pretty much all you're doing with that section. So now, just going to bring this forward and just kind of leave it hanging out there for now. So now we will work on the back here. So what we're going to do is we're going to split the legs. I like to bring out these hip skirt pieces so I can bring the legs out. I have room to operate. What's going to happen here is we're going to untab this section here, bring all of this out, unfold all of this. This section here will rotate around like so, and you can straighten that out right there. You have this little panel here that's going to come down, this little tab here that's going to go into this knot. So basically just kind of come in at an angle, bring it down, come in at an angle, and just slide that in, and that will just locate itself right there. Once you have done that, I like to do this now because it's easier to do it now. Bring up the landing gear, so flip this up and then rotate it and bring it back. And once you've done that, you just take the whole leg and you rotate it 180. You flip that wheel in. You want to take this little hook in here, flip this up, and there you go. You are all done with that side, and second verse is just like the first. And once you have both sides done, there's one more little step we have to do here. You want to take the thigh and you want to shift it in like so. So bring that in, shift that in, and once you've done that, now we can take the two halves and bring them together and just tab it all up, tab it all up, tab it all, tab it all, tab it all up. There we go. Tab it all up. Boop. There we go. So we got all that tabbed in like that. And once we have done that, we can take all this and just bring it back. Make sure that this goes underneath these hooks here, like so. Then you want to drop these tabs back into their respective slots on your side, like that. Get all this lined up as it should, and these will just come down, tab that in, and secure all that into place. And have to come under here. This section right here will come up. This section is die cast also. You want to swing this other landing gear out. His head kind of gets in the way, but just... there we go. Just get that out, and then you can just secure all that back again. You have your little front landing gear. Then you want to take these fins here, rotate it down, bring it up, rotate that down, bring it up. These are also die cast. And we are pretty much done here. You gotta just bring these wheels, level those out. And last step to do is to bring in the sword. Split the sword down the middle. Splay this out, and you can see here there's an angled part to the handle here. You want this angled part facing the back. So just take that, bring it down, plug it in, and there you go. There you have Springer in his helicopter mode. And it looks real good. Looks real good in my opinion. Again, I think X-Transbots kind of did the best job here with the helicopter mode. As far as I'm concerned anyway, but of course you guys can sound off on which one you think is the best, but it looks real good. You get a good spin out of them too. Look at that. Real smooth spin. Love that smooth spin, but oh no. Looks quite good. Looks quite good in my opinion. You can see this new back section here. Comes together very, very nicely. Of course, if you make sure to tab everything together, but there you go. But all in all, though, I think that looks real good. Maybe these little spike bits are a little too small, but other than that, I had no real problem with it. I think it looks quite good. I like it. I like it very much. And again, it does have rolling landing gear, so he actually does roll. He rolls as flying things should. Hooray for rolling flying things. Yay! Then, for comparison, here he is with the Fans Toys version of Springer in helicopter mode. Now, the Fans Toys version definitely has a solid helicopter mode. I have no real issue with it, but I still feel like the X-Transbots one looks a bit better, in my opinion. And here it is with the Ocular Max version, which again, they kind of did what they wanted here, but, you know, it still pulls the look off pretty well. But again, I think the X-Transbots version looks a lot better. And of course, here he is with G1 Springer because he's precious. Oh, so precious. Yay. But yeah, as far as helicopter mode goes, I think X-Transbots wins this round as well. Now you can use the base here for the helicopter mode, and this is totally adjustable here and has locking points for everything. So if you pull out these flaps here, which are not easy to do, that's why I don't mess with it too much. I leave it in this orientation because it's the perfect one for me, so I just leave it here so I don't have to mess with all this stuff. But if you undo these flaps and pull it down slightly, it unlocks this joint here, so you can swing that forward and back, and then you have it where you want it. You just slide it up and bring these back down, and that locks that in place. This section right up here, you just pull this back, and then you adjust it to where you want it, and just let it go, and that locks that in place. But I just leave it straight up like so. And this section right here, all this can move forward and back. This is like super stiff, so it doesn't even need the locking point, but this is the locking point right here. Once you have it where you want it, you just take this and push it down into the slot, and that will lock that into place. But this is like so super stiff and not easy to move that you don't really need that locking point, at least not on mine anyway. But then you just want to push that down, that should go in there. That's a super stiff joint also, so I don't mess with it. It's fine, it doesn't move anyway. But that is how the stand itself works. And all you're going to do is take this, it will plug into the slot that's basically in his crotch. You know, that's kind of an awkward place to have it, but you know, just slot that in, and there you go. You can have Springer there on the base in flight. Again, you can have that angled however you want, but there you go. He does wobble some because that tab is really not, you know, the tab is very short, so there's going to be wobble there. I don't think he's going to fall off, but there's some weeble wobble happening there, so, you know, exercise a bit of caution if you have him on this base, but still looks quite good on there. But the last accessory to show off here is for the helicopter mode, and it is this right here, and it's basically one big effects part for the helicopter mode, and this is supposed to give the illusion of action, movement, and it's all done in transparent pieces. You do have to put this together, and basically all of these sections just slot in and slide back to lock into place, and then you have these little tabs. One goes over, one goes under, and the other one goes over. It's a bit of a pain in the butt to get it together, but it's doable. It's solely doable. Just take your time with it so you don't break anything. So you just pop this off, and you pop this on, and again, you have that little angled bit. Make sure that's facing the back. You pop that on, and there you go. Now you have the illusion of action, movements. It's a beautiful thing, and it does spin, so you can have action, movements. So, hey, I like it. I can work with it, and it looks good. From certain angles, it actually looks really cool, like that right there. That looks awesome. That looks awesome right there, and this spins for a good bit, too. So I totally dig that. That is a really cool display option. As always, options are what? They're good. So that is basically it for the helicopter mode. So let's get down to transformation again, shall we? Let's get a good spin out of the helicopter mode at least. Hey, we get something. We get something. But remove the blades here, put that off to the side, and we can commence. So first thing we're going to do, just take these fins here, bring them down, rotate them forward, bring them down, rotate them forward. We're going to undo these tabs here, just pull those up, to disengage that, and come up under here, and again, just undo these tabs here on the side, so you can pop this up. And the landing gear on this side on mine is a little loose, I have to tighten that up, but get that up like so, and we will just get all this situated now. Might as well. So what you're going to do here is you're going to rotate that wheel the rest of the way in, bring down spike here, rotate that in, open up this panel, swing this down, close that up. You're going to slide this up so you can disengage it from this panel here, and now you're going to rotate it in and slide it all the way down here on this track, like so. Then you're going to close up this panel here, and you have this panel here. Now I do have a stress mark. That's like that came out of the box like that because this pin seems like it was slightly misfired, so there's a little bit of a stress mark there. So I have to be a little bit careful with this. But you want to bring this up like so. Just fold that panel up all the way like that. And also take this yellow section, rotate that 180, and there you go. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So just rotate that wheel in, bring the spike down, and swing this in. Make sure that spike does not get in the way. Boop, there we go. Open that up, and swing this around, and in. Close that back up. Bring this up, rotate it in, slide it down, and close this back up. Bring this up, like so. Rotate this yellow section 180. And there you go. So now what you're going to do here is take these sections and just rotate them in and then collapse them in like so. Bring that windshield down. There you go. And that's the backpack all situated. So we can bring that down and just leave that for now. And now we're going to work on his legs. So what we're going to do here is going to split the legs. Luckily there's a little opening right back here, so you can just grab that, pull that open. And again, I like to bring these hip skirts out, just so I can bring the legs out, and I have room to operate. There we go. So what we are going to do here is we are going to untab this. So again, just kind of bring this whole section in, and that will usually pop that out, and just fold that the rest of the way in like so. You're going to take this whole assembly and rotate this down like that, and that will allow you to now take this and rotate this all the way around, and you have a tab slot connection right in here. So just tab that in like so. Once you've done that, you can bring the foot up, and we can bring this landing gear in. So just bring that up, rotate that in, flip that down. And the foot is on a slider, so you just want to slide that towards you like that. And then you take this bit here, this just rotates up and just sits right behind the leg like that. So at this point now you can just bring all of this back up, and you want to, I always forget this step at the last minute, take this little panel, flip that in, and then collapse all this up. And if you have everything lined up just right, it should all just tab right in like so. And there you go. And then you can just take the thigh here, straighten that out, and you got that leg all done. And guess what? The second verse is just like the first. And now he has two legs. Hooray for legs. He's kind of getting weighed back by the backpack there. That's why he's leaning. But now we can move on to the upper body. So what we're going to do here is we're going to open this section up and just bring all this out on these hinges. We can open all this up as well. Just kind of bring all this up and back. We got to swing in this landing gear too, like so. So now here's the part where a lot of people are having troubles and also having a lot of paint scraping. There is a way to avoid all that. And so the issue here is he does have an ab crunch. He has a Ratchet Ab Crunch, and you can kind of see right in here. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's the green ratcheted piece is actually, it ends up right between his arms. There you go, you can see it right there. It ends up right between his arms, and that makes it a nightmare to get his arms pushed out because those are totally in the way. So what do? You get them out of the way. So all you have to do is just engage that ab crunch. Once you do that, hey look, it's not there anymore. It's not in the way. Yay! So now, what we can do is you want to slide the shoulders up. Don't slider, just slide them up as far as they will go, and then you just push from the back here and pop it out, and boop, and there you go. If you do that correctly, those shoulder pieces will not collide. These are painted die casts also, that's why people are having the paint scraping issue. If you do that correctly, the shoulders will not collide, and as you can see, as many times as I've transformed them, there has been no paint scrapage. So that's the way to do it. You can do the same thing with the other side now. Obviously there's nothing there to collide with, but again, just push it out, boop, and it pops right out. And once you do that, you can bring that back down, and voila. And that's how you avoid the paint scrapage there with those shoulder pads. These shoulder pads, in all fairness, should not have been die cast. They should have just cast this in yellow plastic and eliminated that issue altogether, but oh well, it is what it is. And that's one of my things when I say there's a little too much die cast in there, because they didn't need to be die cast. But anyway, moving on. Let's bring this down here so we have a little bit of counterbalance. So now, what you want to do, you want to make sure the shoulder is all the way up, because you have a little tab that has to go through a slot in there. So have the shoulder all the way up, then you can bring it in, slide it down, and then it will just tab in right there. So make sure that shoulder is all the way up, so you can bring it in, slide it down, and tab that in like so. So once you've done that, we can actually clip in the backpack, and there's just these two posts, which are going to go into these two clips right here. Just clip it in, and clip it in, and there you go. So this backpack is all situated now. So now we can get working on the chestial region here. So what we're going to do here is just bring his head forward, rotate it around. You want to bring these panels out. I did snap this tab off. This is because I didn't know what I was doing and I glued it back on. So just full disclosure, I did break that off. And that was my own mistake. So before we get everything situated with the chest, you want to take this panel back here and just unfold it. Bring it up as high as it'll go. I wish it came up higher, but get up as high as it'll go. So what's going to happen here is you're going to bring all of this back. And you want these hinges to end up right in this groove right in here. So just bring that back, and that should just drop right in like so. The belly, you want that belly to come up also. And if you get everything seated just right, it should just pop right down, like so. And that little panel behind his head will basically just kind of drop right down. Kind of just drop right in there, like that. Push it all down. And there you go. There you got the chest all situated. And we're at the home stretch here. We just have to get his arms transformed. So what we're going to do with the arms is we're going to untab the wrist, rotate this around, and bring it up and tab it in. You're going to straighten out the elbow joint proper here, and then just rotate the forearm up like so. Rotate the hand in, extend the arm. Now you got that all done. Same thing the other side, just untab, rotate, bring that up, bring that hinge down, straighten this hinge out on the forearm, rotate that in, extend that leg, arm, that's an arm. That's not a leg, that's nowhere near a leg. Well, it's kind of near his leg, whatever. So there we go, I think we're done. Are we done? Yes, we're done. Ooh, we're done. And I think we have a vague knowledge of body parts. But there you go, there you have VIRTUS, aka Springer, in his robot mode. And he looks good, looks real good in my opinion. Nice and G1-y. I like him very much. So let's get in close here so we can take a look, not at his chest, at his noggin. There's the noggin. And very nicely done head sculpt there, nice. Blue for the eyes, with a little bit of yellow in there as well. But nice, nice head sculpt there. Again, you got die cast here in the shoulders. The chest is die cast. The belly is die cast. See the forearms there. Got a little touch of silver. The thighs are die cast. Got a little bit of metallic green there on the knees. Feet are die cast. Little fins are die cast. Move the back. You can see. Pretty Clean transformation. He does have a pretty big backpack. He definitely has, I think, the biggest backpack of all the third-party springers, but still not too shabby, in my opinion anyway. Now, articulation-wise, the head can rotate, can do a full 360, he can look up, he can look down. Arms can do a full 360, they can move in and out. You can untab them and kind of get, like, a little bit of forward movement, but not anything real substantial. You do have, if we move on down to the bicep rotation. He does have a double jointed elbow, so you have nice full range of movement there. He has wrist rotation. You have fully posable fingers here. The thumb's on a ball joint at the base, hinge there, and a hinge there. And each finger is on a hinge at the base, and a hinge there, and a hinge there. So you have nice, fully posable fingers. He does have waist rotation. He has that ab crunch as well. He also, if you pull his waist up, I guess that allows for some like side-to-side movement there. I guess kind of gives you a little extra. I don't know, but you know, it's a thing you can do. If you want to do it, you can move all these panels out of the way to accommodate the leg movement. Legs can move forward about that far, back about that far, outward, full splits, and then some. You got thigh rotation. You have slightly under 90 degrees of bend there at the knee. And the feet, they can move up, they can move down, and you have ankle tiltage. And of course he can wield his weapons. Now there is one issue here with the sword, and it's that he can't hold it all that well. So again, you want that angled piece on the back, and he doesn't hold the sword very well. The tab goes in, but then it just doesn't work. You can wrap his fingers around it, and it'll have a good grip on it. You can, as long as you hold on to his hand, you can pose it, and it shouldn't fall out. But of course, now from the camera's on, it's always going to fall out. But so far, when I've tried to get him posed, there we go. He holds on to it just fine, because there is enough tension in the fingers that he can hold on to it, but still, it kind of sucks that it doesn't work perfectly well, but it is what it is. The guns he actually does hold just fine. The guns tab right in. They hold nice and securely, like so, for pew-pewing and bang-banging. And we can give him both guns, because we can do something here. Oh, we can do something, all right. So you can tab that in. Have the fingers around like so, and again, he is Blush compatible. Yes, he is. He has his own Blushes too, which is great. Wonderful. Love it. Love all of it. And we can do a double Springer Blush. Why not? Dare I say, why not? And you can also take these. These can also plug into the back of these sections here. Use that for the helicopter mode if you want to, or make it, make a jetpack. Why not? Again, dare I say, why not? All things you can do if you want to do it. And on either form, he does have these little blasters that flip out that we see in the movie. Yeah, hey, some nice extra little features there if you want to take advantage of them. And as I mentioned earlier, we do have some noggin options. We can give him the IDW head, but again, I don't think it really works with this body, but hey, things you can do if you want to do it. Now the heads, you can see the neck peg is actually keyed. You can see the little tab sticking out there. So the easiest way to do it is to just undo the whole chest here and bring this all up and bring this panel down so you can see exactly where that key is so you can get the head out. I'm not going to do it because it's just more work than I want to do. It's just pain in the butt, honestly. But you pop the head out, put that one in, and turn it so it'll lock into place. You can have the IDW head on the body, but again, I don't really like it on this body. It doesn't work, but still nice inclusion nonetheless. And once you pop the head off, you can also swap the faces on this head. I don't think you can swap the faces on this one. It doesn't seem like you can swap the faces on this head, but you can definitely swap the faces on this head. So once you have the head taken off, you just slide the face down, and you can give him either a smiling face. One thing that's weird about these faces, though, is that all of them are different shapes. Like you have that right there, which has more of a squared off chin. See, that one has a squared off chin also, so that matches up. But then you have this face right here, which has kind of, some more angles there to the chin. And then you have a little angry face there, which again has that different angled chin. And you have this face that's just a lot wider because, okay, sure, why not? And this is just flat out the IDW face. It's the same face that's on this head here. So if you just want to have him with the IDW face, you can do that as well. So hey, you have the option as always. Options are good. So there you have that. And now for comparison. Here he is with the Fans Toys Hot Rod and the official Masterpiece Hot Rod. Of course. With the Masterpiece RC and the Fans Toys RC. I'm not going to compare him with all the 86 boys here, but we'll do a couple. Here he is with the X-Transbots Cup. With MP44 Optimus Prime and Magnus. So you can see how that works out. Here he is with G1 Springer because he's precious. Oh, so very precious. And here he is with the Fans Toys and Ocular Max Springers. So we can see how that works out. And again, I feel like X-Transbots kind of nailed him the best. But of course, that is just my personal opinion, but you can sound off on which Springer is your personal favorite. So, there you go. So there you have VIRTUS, and yeah, out of all the third-party Springers that I own and have owned, I think this one is my personal favorite. I think the car mode is the best out of all the ones that I have seen. I think the helicopter mode looks really great as well. The robot mode looks awesome in my opinion. The transformation actually works quite well on this guy. There's some good engineering here. It works pretty smoothly. As long as you use the trick I showed you with engaging that ab crunch, you should get the arms out just fine without anything scraping. You're probably still going to end up with some paint chipping anyway, just through normal, play and wear and tear, because really those shoulder pieces shouldn't have been die cast in the first place. But if you're careful, the paint chipping should be, minimal. And again, if you do things the way I showed you, you should get those arms out without anything scraping. And like I said early in the review, my biggest critique is just I think there's too much die cast. I think they went a little nuts with the die cast because it just ups the risk of paint chipping in multiple places. But it is what it is. But overall, though, I really, really like this guy. I'm really glad I changed my mind and decided to pick him up. So there you go. Now, if you would like this or any of X-Transbots' other offerings, you can check out BigBadToyStore.com for availability. There'll be a link in the description down below so you can check that out. You can also check out my third-party Transformers playlist for any reviews you may have missed. Also linked in the description down below so you can check that out as well. And I think that's it. So don't forget to check out EmGo's, check out Love Peace Paranormal, follow me on Twitter, all of that good stuff down in the description below. And I think that's pretty much all there is to say. So there is the X-Transbots VIRTUS. And this is EmGo saying, remember, you don't stop playing because you grow old because you stop playing. Be geek, be proud, palm in your face. Hey, Springer, guess what? Oh, don't give me the whole you're gonna be leader one day shtick. I am going to be your boss one day, haha. Yeah, right. Over Prime's dead body. Well, I don't want it like that. Maybe a game of rock, paper, scissors?